All right, I think we're live. Let me get my radio voice going. Get a sip of water here. What's good, YouTube? It's Jason Blaha here, representing Jason Blaha's Strength and Fitness. Yes, I'm still scalped from that barbell, and then I nicked myself shaving here. Nicked myself. It happens. All right, let's see who comes in. This is a little earlier than people are used to. I haven't done as many of these lately. And I'm going to be honest, guys, I quit doing these because they're just getting boring. People and people keep asking me to try to remember stuff from before you were even born. You guys don't remember anything before you were born. Quit asking me exactly, specifically, what year did I do X, Y, or Z? I don't know. Anything more than 20 years ago, automatic ban. I think that's going to be the rule. If you ask me any questions about anything other than maybe the guitar, more than 20 years ago, I'm just going to press the ban. Keep in mind my age. That means anything from my age 25 and under is all, we're just done. Nonsense. Too old to remember this stuff. But you guys get in here, give me some likes. Again, because I've been doing these at different times and sporadic, they don't fill up like they were. It's all good. I had a good workout today. Even though the bench press just felt off, and when I look at the footage, you could tell it wasn't even a max. It was definitely not a 4-rep max. It just didn't feel right. And I'm not going to finish a bench set that doesn't feel right. I'm going to go in and put some muscle on. There you go, Miko, coach laying down the house rules. And I think that's fair, man, because I'm just going to quit doing the live streams. Either ban those people or just stop doing them because it's annoying. And it's easier to just ban those people. They know the rules. I'm about to be 47 years old. I just don't remember the specifics of exactly every last detail of my life when I was 19 or 20. I just don't. You said in today's vlog that you think your loose skin tightened up a bit. Are you sure you just forgot to have your daily watermelon? I didn't forget to have. There's a half a watermelon. Hold on, bro. Hold on. Let's not make claims that we can't prove. Right? People are always like, you're lying about whatever. So I'm only going to make statements I can prove, I think. I just ate this one with a spoon. Here's my spoon. It still got yogurt on the handle because I ate some yogurt with that spoon too. That's half of it. All right. I wish I was able to afford personal coaching, but inflation forcing me to move. No, I'm not going to discuss how my business ebbs and flows. Inflation is definitely, the cost of everything is up. Can I get a current events video on Jason Blaha saying that big back exercises are the trick to building your back? You know what? I'll put one up this morning. How's that sound? How's that sound? Let's get some real questions going. But I do sympathize, man, if you're struggling to put food on the table. Yeah, obviously you're not going to be able to afford coaching. That's life, man. Do the best you can. You said Sam Salute doesn't have his estrogen under control aside from cleaning up his diet. It's not his diet. There's nothing to. Okay, Doug, let's be honest here. Elevated estrogen is not your diet. That is not a factor at all. It has no impact unless you're just really, 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 really fat. Okay. So he's not fat. So why would you assume that his diet has anything to do with it? He blasts a lot of wet gear and he's not controlling his estrogen. It's purely drugs, right? I would think that would be clear. He might have people with a lot of gear knowledge helping him. Keep in mind, a lot of these guys with a lot of gear knowledge still drop dead because they don't know, how do I put this? They know how to get big. They don't know how to not die. Does that make sense? And it's not that gear is even particularly dangerous. And therein lay the problem, because the dangers of gear have been so overwhelmingly hyped, that people who get into the gear world, when they realize that almost no one is actually getting hurt by this stuff, they just go crazy with it. Does that make sense? So it's not that they don't have knowledge, it's that they don't realize, hey man, there is a limit. Maybe this amount seems safe, but I shouldn't use 12 times that amount. Does that make sense? I mean, this guy over here lived to be 65 while blasting this amount of gear. Maybe I shouldn't use 27 times his dose. And you think I'm kidding, but that's really how these guys think. You know, if a guy can run 500 milligrams for 40 years straight while having good blood work, then 5 grams must be okay. You see their logic? And then, and then that happens. And then you have these guys who just use ridiculous, insane amounts of drugs. And then they stack party drugs with it, because almost every one of these guys, it is party drugs in the mix too, while blasting grams and grams and grams of gear. Then they die. And then people go, oh, see, steroids are dangerous. Okay. Then new people get into the game and realize they're not that dangerous. So then they just repeat the cycle, because they're like, well, nobody's actually dying who's using these amounts, so I can just keep adding to it. It's this vicious cycle. And the people who pretend that moderate amounts is even causing bad blood work, when there's no evidence, there's just no evidence. It then leads people into that mindset. And it's really a messed up situation. How did you approach pause squats? Do you program them as only work? Casing, it depends on, you're asking me too complex of a question. As a warm-up, the answer is obviously no. Do we do them as only work? Have I programmed them as rep work, et cetera, et cetera? Yes. Fuck is a warm-up? Why would you warm up on a pause squat if you're going to max on a non-pause squat? That doesn't even make good sense, right? You would warm up on the exercise you're about to max on. Okay. Because what's the point of a warm-up? Why do we warm up? To get our nervous system dialed in, to get the movement pattern down. That's why we warm up. I hope that's why you warm up. Unless you're really out of shape and then you literally need a warm-up. But you guys work out. You're all in shape. If you could handle it, would you recommend whole milk? Probably not, and that's a lot of saturated fat. I mean, if I've got to be honest about it at this point in the game, I don't know that that's the best route for anybody. And I know I've said in the past it's probably okay, it's fine. I don't know that it is. Again, just you have to be current with the data. Overall, was there anything you like about Sam's training? You said you like how strong he was. I have no idea how he trains. I watched just a couple of exercises. Okay, let me restate this different, Doug. I know that he does the incline bench. That's the entirety. Okay, let me step back. That is the entirety of my knowledge of Sam Saluk's training. He incline benches. And I think the incline bench is a good exercise. So therefore, the only single thing I know about his training, I'm cool with. Thoughts on novices using 15 to 20 rep sets on comp. There's no such thing as compound and isolation movements. No, I don't think novices need to be doing 15 and 20 rep sets. I don't think it's that good for novices. They're going to be real weak and real small a lot longer. When the milk in the UK didn't agree, did you find that was the same with organic milk? I have never drank organic milk in my entire life anywhere, so I have no way to compare. Jason, I know you don't find periodization particularly effective. Is Dr. Mike wrong for suggesting periodization to his audience? Not sure why anyone would plan a deload instead of auto-regulation. Here's my question. Wrong in what way? Wrong as in it's a bad business move? No, it's a fucking amazing business move. Mike is a brilliant businessman. Okay? Make the training so complex that you have to keep selling new programs. That's fucking brilliant. So how? No, he's not wrong. Is he wrong that there's evidence that there's any benefit to doing it? Is he claiming there's evidence that there's benefit, or is he just claiming this is what he sells? Now, if he's claiming there's evidence, I'm going to call bullshit. Right? Totally fair. I'm not seeing any more questions. I hope we didn't stall out. That's not good. How do you cross the language barrier with international clients who you student at my gym? They don't speak English and it's hard to help them. If they don't speak English at all, I can't coach them. Nothing I can do. All of my clients speak at least reasonable English, even the ones in a wide variety of countries. All right, I'm definitely worried that this thing has froze. There it goes. What percentage do you do squats 3 sets of 10 to clients? I don't know, because I don't really program 3 sets of 10 for squats for clients. So the answer to your question is 0, because I don't do that. Do you see Sam Palute drinks chocolate milk for breakfast? Future chocolate milk post-workout, those are on fasted people. What they found in the studies is that it works just as good, if not better, than post-workout drinks. Keep in mind, there's only a benefit if you train fasted. If you're serious about gaining muscle, you're not going to fucking train fasted. That's the problem with the research. But when compared, chocolate milk is pretty damn good there. But why are you training fasted? And if you're not training fasted, I can't say that chocolate milk is something you should be chugging post-workout. I'm convinced that when comments contain both the words compound and isolation, they're trolling. Doug, they have to be, man. They've clearly not watched any of my videos. Because it's funny, man. I will see people say, Jason Blaha promotes compound exercise. I've seen that stuff so many times. And I'm like, really? I don't believe there is such a, how can I promote something that I say doesn't exist? It's really weird. Jason, I see from your recent bench days you work on mobility, pull-up skin. This mean I don't know if I'll go so far as to say overhead press again. Let's do this one step at a time. Let me get some mobility first. I can't even do a pull-up. I don't feel safe doing a pull-up right now with my current shoulder mobility. I could literally injure myself doing one pull-up. So, right? Let's worry about that down the road. Chris Jones says dirty bulking has been effective for getting jacked. Do you agree? I'm not a fan of dirty bulking, but you know what? Has it been effective for it? I mean, let's be honest. Is Chris pretty fucking jacked? Chris Jones is jacked, right? He's a jacked dude. I might not think that that's the best approach, but it's worked for Chris. You know, I mean, we know that he dirty bulks. We've seen the evidence because he gets fat in the off season. We've seen it. And he's jacked. Is that necessarily the best for everybody? No, but it clearly has been an effective strategy for Chris. I'm not even up to speed on that protein research, Miko. I couldn't even begin to answer it. Since I'm not up to speed on the research, I'm not even going to read the question and try to answer it. For me, ME days, I'm programming box squats as primary lift, and good mornings for rep work. I have a weak posterior chain. I think that's fine, man. I think that's a reasonable approach, actually. Oh, yeah. Coach, is 3 tubs of Costco Greek yogurt a day too much? 3 tubs of those? You're talking those big ones from Costco? Like I eat 3 of them? That's a lot, dude. Are you against lifters using marijuana? I'm using it to replace alcohol, and it's been working. You know, Sean, let's take a pretty chill stance here. If someone tells me that they need to pick between alcohol, which is addictive and destroys your liver and makes people violent, versus they need to smoke some weed that might be a little bad for your lungs and might make you sleepy and hungry, it's the lesser of evils by an enormous margin, right? I mean, if we've got to pick, if you say, I need one of these 2 substances to function, alcohol is 50 times worse than marijuana by almost any objective metric. So, I'm going to say, man, if that's what you need, then do it. Particularly, a lot of people use it for anxiety. It's prescribed for certain things. They prescribe it for PTSD and stuff now. You can get prescriptions for it. Even now in Texas, where it's largely illegal, you can get prescriptions for it, for PTSD. Okay, so, I'm going to say I don't see the problem, brother. But Sean, let's come back over to that other point. Didn't you also tell me that you were morally superior because you don't use drugs? But then you have a drug that you're needing to benefit your life. And I'm not calling you out on that. I'm not saying that it's wrong for you to smoke weed, because I don't think it is. Just put that in context with your other statements in the gear stuff. Just think on it, brother, right? If you're cutting, should you still do ME work since your strength is going to be declining? Yeah, I still have my lifters do ME work on cuts. Glad to see you come around on mobility, Jason. I've always said there's more to life than brute. But, well, Derek, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Doesn't mobility lead to better brute strength? So let's come back around and look at it from that perspective. If you have better mobility, isn't your brute strength going to be potentially better? You describe Chris Jones, Jack Winston looking Jack and looking aesthetic. Chris Jones looks Jack. When I look at Chris Jones, I don't think that is a beautiful, beautiful, extremely attractive, sexy man. Okay, that's not what pops through my head. I'm like, dude's jacked. Like, if you tell me that something is aesthetic, you're saying that it's very beautiful. You find it extremely beautiful. That's what the word means. And if it's another human being, you see where we're going? Therein lay the difference. Chris is jacked. Doug, I'm not going to go into the details. A couple times a year, honestly. I don't do lots and lots of blood work because I don't see big changes. Yes, the 48 ounce. Remember you saying, dude, 2 tubs was really, really difficult for me. It was pushing it. Derek, it's just another food, man. It's just another food. Hey, coach, how important is the eccentric of exercises like rows and inverted rows? Should I sacrifice a couple of reps just to? No, I don't think you should lose reps trying to emphasize it. Just do whatever you want for eccentrics. Yep. Cali Muscle keeps getting health scares. His last one was yesterday, and he's still just a watermelon children. Why? It just reviews. Does Cali strike you as particularly bright? Just as an individual. It's fascinating seeing athlete squatting 400 pounds while able to do the splits, that strength and mobility living in harmony. Yeah, I mean, you can't deny that. Like that's again, you see an athlete who can do a full split and they can squat 400 pounds. I mean, that's fucking athlete, dude, right? Looking like you lift, looking jack, looking aesthetic. No, they're not the same thing. They're not the same words. Words have meaning, Derek. Our words have meaning. We are speaking a language. The words that we use have well understood meanings. Alien Goals say, good evening, Jason. What's up, bro? Darko says, thoughts on Anabar. You might need to be a little more specific in your questions about Anabar. That's a chick drug. Your friend Nico is on another level. He's one of the dude. Nico's cool as hell. He's intense though as a person. Like if you ever have a conversation with Nico, like Nico is just so intense. Like just with everything he does. But he's cool though. Other than grip, are there any inherent benefits to bent over rows versus OG rows? Man, I need to put Nico in a podcast. Okay, the row questions. Bent over rows. It just depends on whether you're trying to work a little more trap, a little more grip. There's not inherent benefits. They're just slightly different tools. Great discussion with the collab video with two coaches last week. The disagreement of the glute ham raise was healthy and eye-opening. Yeah, because, most of my circles, we all love the glute ham raise and the reverse hyper. Even Lewis does. He was in there. Like, dude, he uses them. He uses them himself. Right? And Jamie doesn't like them. But Jamie's funny like that, dude, because he literally, like, you keep using that thing, you're going to be diabetic. It is a good correlation, because he likes to clown on a lot of the West Side and some of the stuff that goes on there. He's written a lot about that, though. Any thoughts on the deviant bodybuilding? I don't know anything about that. Sorry. Should I weigh my food before or after cooking? Before. It's all the same thing, caring about how you look. No, Derek, there's a difference. I'm not trying to be pretty. I want to look like, okay, go back to that podcast. Jamie was just like, okay, so, I mean, you're eating how you want to look, and you look like a carnivorous chimpanzee. You see the point there? A carnivorous chimpanzee is probably not beautiful. What advice would you give to Mercer or TikTok? I don't know who that is, dude. If he needs to bulk up, then he needs to eat more. It's that simple, guys. Quit eating like an anorexic child. What do you think about using 300 milligrams just per week with Anabar? How much Anabar does? I think that's workable, but we come over to Anabar should be used for only short periods of time. It just hammers your HDL so hard. It's so mild in every other way, but the HDL hit is enormous. And the back pumps, like you can't run much Anabar. You say real Anabar, you might start getting in crazy back pumps at 50 milligrams a day. I would rather see Primo in that slot. I mean, if you're in the Anabar budget, I think Callie is just a really stubborn individual, doesn't want to accept the fact that years of abusing gear. Yeah, because it was abuse. Callie wasn't just using gear. And we need to be clear there. I want to be clear there. He wasn't using gear. He was abusing very large amounts. You don't get to the size he was at using, 700 milligrams a test. Okay, that doesn't happen. Coach, are you unable to get proper range of motion? What do you mean? I get good range of motion on the reverse hyper. Honestly, Jamie's take on the reverse hyper made me reconsider buying one. I don't think it's a scam, like you said, but maybe. I'm a fan, dude. Do you take a nap every day? No, but a lot of days I do. Pretty frequently. Last from Jason pointed out that Callie Muscle loves the word booty hole. He does. Dude, I haven't seen any of his stuff in years, but it was over and over and over. Coach, Do you say there were a bunch of your videos we need to ignore? How do we look at the years, man? Begin to, if I'm in there telling you, you can get away with one set for a muscle and you only need 3 exercises, and it's written in 2016. Oh, you didn't see the video. I haven't uploaded it yet. I'm sorry. I made a whole video on that, but it's like 60 deep in my backlog. I apologize. It will be up eventually. It's in the rotation. That will explain that in detail. Thoughts on drinking electrolyte drinks before training to make sure. I mean, if you think you need them, they're not a bad idea. Do you lift even while on vacations? Usually not. Oh, awesome. Coach Blaha is back streaming. I love these. Awesome, bro. Are steroids addictive? In the traditional sense, no, but they can suppress your normal production. But the thing is, that's the thing I tell people. Don't go on if you plan on coming off. It's very simple. And I think that's a very good rule to follow for people who are doing their research and deciding if they're going to go to the dark side. Rule number 1, this is Jason's rule. Don't start if you plan on coming off at some point in your life. And I don't just mean in 5 years. I don't mean just because your powerlifting career is over. If you go on, it's you're married. You just put the ring on and just swear your vows before God. It's a lifetime commitment. And if you can accept that, it might be right for you. If you can't accept that, gear's not for you. Stay drug free. I'll be straight up honest. And I think that's a good rule. What are the top things you were wrong about? Man, I've been wrong about so many things in my life, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Should I start with my first marriage or my second marriage? Hey, coach, how do we count speed work sets for our 10 to 20? Don't count them as a couple sets and be done with it. Do you ever snack between sets on ME days? Sometimes. Kelly's legs are way smaller than yours now that he's off because he never trained his legs. Is minimalist training better for novices? How do you defining minimalist, Marco? How are you defining? I think novices should run some of the free novice programs that are out there and not worry about those terms and ideas yet. Jason, do you actually feel the cognitive benefits of creatine, or you just take it with the hope it has cognitive benefits? Right? I just hope. Jason, do you think being on gear lowers sperm count? Depends upon the drug and the individual, Tetris. You use the word gear. I need you to be very, very, very specific. Okay? Name specific drugs. Do I think 19 NORs have the highest possibility? The answer would be yes. What does that mean in street words? Because you guys go, I don't know what a 19 NOR is. Well, that's confusing. We're using numbers. Okay. Tren and Deca. Things in the 19 norandrolone family have a very good chance of suppressing sperm. In fact, the Chinese have experimented with them as male birth control because it's not permanent necessarily. I have personally utilized this and then tested my sperm count, which you guys are aware of, on a low dose of Deca, and it got me down in a low enough level that it was safe for me to bust nuts in my girl. So why do you say it is a lifelong commitment for steroids? Because addiction? Because, Darko, if you're going to suppress your natural levels, there's no guarantee you're going to be able to bring them back. You might need TRT for life. It's not guaranteed, but it's a risk. And if you're not willing to take that risk as an acceptable possibility, then don't do it. Been away a while, back to lifting. Great to see you still going strong. Thank you, brother, and welcome back. Do you ever have trouble assessing gear? No. No, I do not. I have never, at any point in my life, found it difficult to get gear in any country I've been in. That's not even like a real I'm sorry. I'm well known enough that even if I was in the middle of Egypt and the pharmacies there wouldn't sell it to me because they just decide they're not going to sell to Americans like they do to everyone else there. I have enough connections. I could probably get on Facebook Messenger and go, bro, I'm stuck in Egypt with no testosterone. What do I do? And I will probably have testosterone within 24 hours. You see how, like, I can't even comprehend not being able to find gear. I know enough people that if I was stuck in the middle of Turkey and I couldn't find Prima Bolin, I could probably get real Prima Bolin. Okay. Like, you just have to know people, guys. All right. Do you have to do supplementals and main lifts all in one session? Or I think you should do them all in one session. Coach, I believe that lifting is so safe that if you know what you are doing, the biggest injury risk is dropping a 20-kilo plate on your toe or finger. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Things can always happen, but will I say that generally speaking, is it safer to go to the gym and work out than it is to drive to the gym to go work out? You have a higher risk of injury driving to the gym than you do lifting. Chris, I don't got any little Blahas running around. I'm using that dad bod for marketing because it's funny. Because I always get guys who clown on that I don't look in shape. And then I'm like, okay, man, I'll just market dad bod then, because then all the 40-year-old dudes want to look like me, and then they want to pay. How high is the risk of not being able to bring back test production? I can't give you a specific figure, Darko. Is Michael Hearn still believing he's never believed he's not. He knows he's not. I don't even think anyone in their right mind thinks he's even being serious. I think the issue is not about accessing gear, but more about the quality and consistency of it. Miko, I can't comprehend being in a position with the number of connections I have for that to ever be a problem for me anywhere in the world. Okay, well, Ice Cream Fitness 2.0, no, I'm not giving you guys sources. All right, don't ask me. I will report your conversation and block you. I think the issue, all right, will Ice Cream Fitness 2.0 help me build my delts as a beginner? Yes. Should I add lateral raises? No, not necessarily. Adam says, are you still in Tejas? I just popped out. Yes, I am still in the country of Texas, the great Republic of Texas. There are countries where you go to prison or even get death for a drug. Be careful, coach. I'll be very careful of those countries then. Is 185 pounds lean at 5'7" pretty good for a drug-free guy? Yeah, I think so. Adam, that's too long of a conversation with me to discuss what are the pros and cons of living in Texas. Low taxes, low cost of living, lots of gun freedom. Property taxes are too high. Maybe we got a few really messed up laws, right? Yeah, Mike keeps doubling down. But the thing is, like, no sane person believes that. What is your typical pre-workout meal? Fruit. Have you ever trained anyone, Army or police? Multiple of both. In fact, concurrently, I have literally trained an MP who was a client for like 5-6 months. Is there a major possibility that you have children you don't know about, or what would you do if they reach out? Darko, my sisters always joke with that. Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. I don't think I do, but I mean, it is possible. Like, I don't remember, didn't keep up with every girl that I, came inside of. Have you ever been to Jersey? No. Can we learn anything from drug addicts like Michael? I think Mike knows how to train. And I didn't call him a drug addict. Mike used a lot of gear. So what? I don't think his doses are that crazy high. I think he's just used them enough years continuously while training really hard that he's just gotten big as hell. His training is pretty good, though, to be fair. I know a clown powerlifter who claims conventional deadlifts is dangerous for regular people, yet he drives a motorcycle. So yeah, he's a clown. Coach, what memory boosters do you recommend? I did not know there was such a thing. Does lifting even help to fight cancer such as prostate and lung cancer? To some extent. Do you plan on keeping your coaching rates the same as inflation comes back down? I'm not sure yet. Didn't your gear stack? No, Derek, you guys, you're clearly a troll then who watches troll videos and not my videos. You just gave yourself away. I was using a very low dose of nandrolone to see if I could get my sperm count lower. Concurrently with tests. And I did that back at the time in those years. No, you missed the video. Now, I didn't tell you what I did in the video, right? But you are aware that that's what I did, right? I've said it in lives and other stuff since then. Okay. The idea at the time, my ex, due to her PCOS, was scared to take birth control. Okay. I don't like condoms. You see where I'm going with this? Therefore, I added something like 50 milligrams of DECA on top of my replacement dose of testosterone at the time to see if, because theoretically it should work, to see if it would suppress my sperm count. And it did. Right? While I was on it. So, come back to the point. That allowed me to not wear condoms and to not have to pull out. Win-win situation. But that doesn't mean that a person is permanently infertile. And even if they were, it's still reversible. Okay, so let's say you come off of that. Again, you're clearly not up to speed on your gear knowledge. You do realize you can get your sperm count back with HCG therapy. Coach, what are the top 3 things that have changed in your diet training in 2 years due to new data? I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, man. Sorry. Do you think true masculinity should be prioritized on propagating your gene pool forward into the next generation? I don't think necessarily, no. Sorry, I'm laughing at that because I know so many just complete pieces of shit who, left a whole string of children who really are not fit to be fathers at all, who still see themselves as, real men, and they're not. They're terrible people. I know a few out there. Who would be an ideal guest on the anabolic dot? I would be. You said you would be. Maybe. I'm not really sure who that is. No, Vegeta is nothing. Watch my current videos. Because you're asking me to specifically think about 2 years. You've given me a time frame, and then you want me to try to think about 24 months ago and go through the list of science stuff and then figure out what videos I made this year versus a year ago, or were they 2 years ago or 3 years ago? Nope, can't do it. Sorry, not in a live stream. Not without checking notes. Like I would have to turn the live stream off and go dig through notes for an hour and then come back and give you a 30-second answer. It's not fucking worth it. We in the middle of a live stream, brother. Okay. Do you recommend any books or resources on steroids? I'm currently reading. I'm familiar with that one. Gosh, I don't. I don't know how many books I would necessarily recommend. That's a good starter, though. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of this stuff is just reading studies, talking to other coaches, talking to doctors who are involved in this stuff a little bit. You can learn a lot. All right. Didn't you date an English bird? Oh, I know you're British. No, I married her. I married her. She was my second ex-wife. British women are different than, but American women is such a broad category. Like, I live in Texas, so my view of Texas women is certainly not like other places in the US. You know, British women are very, very straightforward. Like, they will straight up hit on you way more than women will here. That's one of the big differences. Like, British women will almost just throw pussy at you, even when you're married. Like, they're very aggressive. Like, here, the men have to actually pursue the women. The women in the UK seem like they pursue the men. That's one of the biggest differences I noticed. Top 5 favorite bands, Jason, the ones you listen to the most. Oh, man, right now, a lot of ZZ Top, a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan, a lot of AC/DC. Derek, you know what? I'm starting to think you was a troll. You might be getting the button soon. All right. I already didn't like my reverse hyperform. Then you didn't know the real backstory behind the only video I did on the topic, which meant you really were all into what other people are saying about it. Just saying, dude. I'm just curious about what is new, what his latest stance, and you know what? Begin to watch my videos. I'm in here just chilling doing my live stream, man. I'm not going to go try to pin down each individual study. If you have a fucking question, ask the question. Is it difficult to obtain good quality gear? Not at all. Jason, can you start off your training vlogs with the classic Lotaro bar intro? But I'm not putting org mode in the name anymore, man. What are a lot of the... I'm not going to answer questions about specific ethnicities of women. Okay. Again, I feel like you guys just want to get me to say something stupid and racist, and I'm not going to do that. Do you prefer when women approach you like in UK, do you prefer to do most of the heavy lifting when it comes to flirting? I don't know, Darko. I don't know. 6 one way, half a dozen the other. Are you still making lots and lots of ammo? No. I don't need to, man. I'm not shooting as much as I used to. Plus, it's too time consuming. It's cost to benefit. My time is more valuable than the savings on making ammo. Your name is Fistfight. Okay, you're gonna talk about people like, look, dude, why are you out trying to get in fist fights? Do you think that is what a man does? That he goes out and just gets in fist fights with people? Because that's not what a mature adult male does. Coach, I showed some of your videos to my friend on how to be a better man. I think you should do more of that content as you have lots of nuggets of gold to share. Yeah, I think we covered that in a couple of lives a lot more. We almost might need to get into that with this fist fight guy. I need to talk about that, man. Doug, let me ask you a question. Why would I have any benefit to lying about that? It's obvious I'm enhanced. It's fair to say I have a higher than the would be in the supraphysiological range. Does that not fall in the supraphysiological range? How much testosterone would you estimate that is? No, Darko, I don't stay there year round. So I think healthy masculinity and strength go hand in hand to a great. I think that they do. Yeah, this is another weirdo. Let's get rid of that guy. Hi, Jason. I've been trying your client Michelle's app workout that you posted. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, Michelle comes up with a lot of interesting stuff. Coach, would you take the risk of obtaining gear somewhere like Saudi Arabia? I don't know that I want to hang out in Saudi Arabia. Powerlifting mechanics. Do you really think 4,000 is that high? I want you to estimate. I want any of the guys in here, a bunch of you guys use gear, a bunch of you've gotten blood work done. How much testosterone do you think that is? Milligrams. On average, approximately. How much do you think that is? And then realize the doses lots of YouTubers have admitted to. Right? I didn't say 10,000. I didn't say 20,000. All right. I don't believe in mesocycles at all. I think they're fucking stupid. I think Dr. Mike is great at marketing. He's a great businessman. And I will give him credit for that. He has learned how to market stuff and make a lot of money very effectively. He's a great businessman. Don't use gear, just know the upper limit is around. So you say about 3 times. So let's say it's approximately 5 times a TRT dose. How many people out there are talking about using 500 milligrams as a normal first cycle, right? That's about 500 milligrams, 600 milligrams, guys. It's not that much. It's not a gram. That's not 5 grams, not 10 grams. Yep. I did blood work recently. It's all good, but cholesterol is a little high. I think all periodization is a scam. Adam, I have multiple clients who are Muslim, and we've talked quite a bit about those things. So, banned parson, but I'm not on the dole. I'm not on any benefits, and have not been for many years. So, all right. So, 48 minutes in, I think we're going to wind this down. I love all of you guys and gals. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.